inside of this thunderstorm. Now, it interacted, we've kind of had two thunderstorms interact there, and that could have caused that kind of wrapping up. Sometimes that'll wrap up, but then as you see more interaction with the other thunderstorms, that'll diminish the rotation. But at least for a few scans on the radar, we had some pretty significant rotation ongoing inside of this thunderstorm, and we're having some issues with the data feed on getting the tornadic activity to us, or the tornado warning on screen. But again, to pass along what the National Weather Service is saying, a couple of things. One, a flash flood warning in effect for Hamilton and Mills County. Two, a tornado warning is in effect for Mills County, and that's going to run until 5:30. We're talking about potential of a tornado, upwards of quarter-size hail. We had pretty significant rotation earlier seen on the radar, and I'll take you back to the rotation here because, again, it spun up quickly. We're sitting in an area where we're kind of away from radars. I want to show you one thing here and see how it looks on our Hamilton radar, how it's seeing this rotation with it. So let's flip over to this. Yeah, it's having some hard time seeing through. So right now that rotation's, I would say it's still broad, but again, we're hitting this storm kind of high up in the clouds. So it's that area near and east of the Gulf area. So if you live in Gulf, we need you in your tornado safe area now. I know it's quick notice. This is what happens sometimes with these storms. They can merge together, cause some real quick rotation. But again, in and around the Gulf area, we still have some significant rotation. This is going to move along Highway 84. So eventually towards the Center City area, potentially Star. These storms are moving kind of east-southeast, so that rotation may eventually move south of the Highway 84 area as it continues to move east of the Gulfway area. So right now, an area of pretty broad rotation with this storm, but again, we're hitting it up high enough that it's going to make it a little hard to get a great view of it. Back to the sky cam, again, we're watching the storm from you can see the coming down heavy there. So again, now the city of Gulfway mainly in the storm part of this. And again, if there was a tornado, it'd be off in this eastern area. Right now, I think we're just seeing some steady rotation, but these are what we call high precipitation supercells. So there's a ton of rain ongoing with this, and it's going to be hard to see anything. So we can tell, you can see the flag there on Fisher Street there. It's pointing towards the south. So that means that the overall thunderstorm rotation, you think counterclockwise, that would mean if there's a rotation, potential tornadic, it's going to be east of this view here. So let's take you back to the radar and kind of go down and show you what we're talking about here. So real quick, since we're just about to the top of the hour, kind of recap what we're watching. So we've got a severe or a strong storm out over the Gulfway area, a tornado watch in store area wide, but we don't have any storms near the I-35 corridor. It's out west that we're watching, and I'm having a data feed issue, so we don't have the tornado warning up. It is out from the National Weather Service. We're just having something with the feed causing me some issues. But this storm that's mainly causing the rotation east of the Gulfway area is moving east and southeast, and that has warranted a tornado warning for Mills County that officially runs until 5:30. Let's take you back to the rotation on this storm, kind of show you what we're watching. And again, we're getting in a messy area. The radars are having to shoot through a lot of rain and hitting pretty high up in these thunderstorms as well. So that's going to limit some of the ability for us to see real great. But right now we are seeing pretty decent mid-level rotation inside the storm, a ton of lightning inside the storm, and some pretty decent hail that's ongoing as well. So that hail core is following behind this activity here and continuing to move towards the east. So again, tornado warning is in effect. That runs for Mills County. That runs until 5:30. I'll take you back and kind of show you the nasty view that we're seeing in the Gulfway area. Again, I would say the tornadic concerns, a big strike of lightning there, that is going to be mainly east of the Gulfway area right now. Still a storm. You don't want to go outside with it. Poor Spider not having fun with it either. You can see the view from our First Alert chase team. They're more around the Event area waiting for the storm. So we have our chase teams kind of staggered further east as this activity continues to shift closer towards the I-35 corridor. And that activity so they can keep an eye on this activity as it continues to work towards the I-35 corridor. So back to the radar again. Again, we have a severe thunderstorm that has the potential of producing a tornado. That has warranted the National Weather Service to issue a tornado warning that's in place across Mills County right now. Again, I apologize. The my computer is having some issues getting the warning data on here, so you'll see it all has disappeared. But it's in the Mills County area that we're watching the tornado warning that's in place. It's along Highway 84 that we're watching this rotation near and just east of the Gulfway area, in this area of bright reds that are just west of Evant and right along the areas between Gulfway and the Colorado River as you go down Highway 16. These are some pretty decent hail cores that produce some quarter to half dollar size hail, and this rotation and overall this storm is shifting to the east and to the southeast with it. So again, I'll give you a quick view of the rotation inside the storm. Again, we're in an area that, in this rotation, it's kind of sliding around. Right now, we're getting a little more of those bright reds and those greens right near and south of the Gulfway area. So if you live near and south of Highway 84 in Mills County, you need to be in your tornado safe area right now. A pretty stout thunderstorm rolling through with some rotation with this storm that could produce a tornado at just about any minute. And the problem is this is a rain-wrapped storm that is going to really limit our potential of seeing the rotation inside of it. So right now, and you kind of see here, you see these dark reds here and here, and then you see the kind of a lack. It's not quite as bright there. So we're getting some updraft inside this thunderstorm here. So if you look at just those dark reds, it kind of nearly has a little hook look to it. But again, you're not going to be able to see in here because there's rain all around. So if there's a tornado, it's probably wrapping the rain into this system really quickly and making it really hard for us to see what's going on inside of this storm. So again, this is the view we have right now for this storm. And again, I apologize. We're having some data feed issues where the warning's not popping up here, but a tornado warning remains in effect. That's going to continue for the Gulfway area. That runs until 5:30. Right around Gulfway, Mills County is what we're watching with that storm. We're seeing some more scattered thunderstorm activity start to move into the Coryell County area. We have our chase teams, again, one in the Evan area, another up in the Coryell County area just north of Gatesville, waiting to see how this complex moves as it shifts east and northeast and working its way into the western parts of central Texas. So let's show you how this has kind of evolved over the last hour. Overall, this activity is moving mainly due east. What we should see with this is, particularly if we get much rotation in this storms, they may start to dive a little more on the southeast, what we call right-moving supercells. So we'll be watching anywhere in Coryell County. You need to be weather aware and definitely paying attention. Bell, McLennan County, these storms are out west. They're moving at about 30 miles per hour, but could be on approach to your area as the remainder of the evening gets going. Right now, we're continuing our live coverage because of a tornado warning that is in effect for Mills County that runs until 5:30. The storm quickly spun up, and we've got some other areas of interest that we're going to be watching. One layer right along Highway 281. Again, that rotation that is mainly sitting south of the Gulfway area right now, but that rotation's moved around significantly with this storm. You can see in the bottom corner of your screen there, that's the view from the Mills County Courthouse kind of area square there in the Gulfway area. So let's go back to the velocity with this storm. Yeah, we're not seeing much of anything there around the Evan area, but we're still seeing this broad rotation here sitting right near. At first, the rotation was on the northwestern side of Gulfway. Now it's sitting more on the southern side. So this will be on Highway 183. That's the road that goes from Gulfway to Lomita, eventually down towards Lampasas. And this rotation is moving east, a little bit southeast. So it's going to mainly stay south of Highway 84, moving through Mills County right now. And that's the reason that we're on keeping a close eye on this storm. Waco, Temple, Killeen, nothing affecting your area right now. But again, we do have a tornado watch that's in effect for all of central Texas. This runs until 8 o'clock tonight because the potential for storms like we're watching right now. And these aren't going to be your prototypical real pretty storms where we can easily see what's going on inside of them. Typically, central Texas is a very muggy area this time of year, and all that moisture causes what we call high precipitation supercells, meaning you have the supercell that's spinning, could produce a tornado, and that tornado is wrapped up with rain and makes it hard to see. So that's part of the reason that we've got our sky cams all across central Texas, we got a radar network, and we have our chase teams that are out and kind of position themselves to try to give us an idea of what's going on out there. But right now, we're watching a very likely rain-wrapped rotation that could be producing a tornado with this storm. And again, this is the area that's under that warning from, it's a small area because we really only really worried about this rotation sitting near and south of the Gulfway area. So again, this is running from the Gulfway area along Highway 84. So some of the communities like Center City, Star, west of the EVAN area. But folks in EVAN, you need to be prepared for any potential rotation that could be working its way towards your area. And we'll go back to the velocity with this real quick and show you, again, that rotation, the way it looks right now, is sitting, again, near and just south of the Gulfweight area, moving mainly to the east. Now, it's going to be extremely hard to see much, and we'll point this Gulfweight camera a little more south. The courthouse is going to be a little bit in the way, but this would be looking towards that rotation off there in the distance. So, again, we'll move that around and adjust it as needed, but again, the rotation sitting we kind of go down. Now, this is, again, hitting pretty high up in the clouds. So that rotation near and just south of the Gulfweight area right now and shifting east. So again, same story we've been telling you. But living around the Gulfweight area, central and eastern Mills County, you need to be prepared for a potential tornado that could be rolling through your area as we speak right now. So that's the only tornadic storm we have. We have a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect for much of Lampasas, Coryell, Hamilton County. We also have a flash flood warning in effect for Mills and Hamilton County as well. As saturated as the ground is, these heavy rain-producing thunderstorms could enhance that flooding concern as we see more of these thunderstorms ongoing, just like this. So there's a lot of different aspects to these thunderstorms that we've got to keep a close eye on when it comes to the potential of severe weather. We have the tornado watch. We're definitely worried about that tornado concern, but it's the combination of that and a lot of different types of weather we could see. Here's the latest kind of flow of this storm. And again, you kind of see a couple different areas. We're going to keep a close eye on that activity there near Adamsville, another little hook trying to develop. But it's this area near and just south of the Gulfweight area. I know this warning covers mainly along Highway 84, but I would definitely be watching out for folks along Highway 183. This overall storm's shifting a little more southeast, so that could take this warning a little further down into Lampasas County if it continues to go on the current trajectory that it's going on right now. Let's go back to the velocity. Again, a little messy. Give me 1 second here. I want to, so there's one thing to point out. So folks in Adamsville, that rotation is starting to tighten up a little bit. This is the most of those greens that we've seen. I'm just going to take it back a scan or two, and you can see they just went from nothing to the green in there. So the red and the green, that's winds moving in opposite directions there. So this is an area of increasing rotation that is working its way towards Adamsville. No warning right now, but a storm that's showing some increased concerns with it. One other thing that we're getting that just came in for the National Weather Service, they're going to the National Weather Service now has the ability to put tags on their warnings, meaning they can add considerable, dangerous, catastrophic, stuff like that to get people's attention more. And they are going to put out more of a what they call considerable tag when it comes to the flash flooding concerns in the Gulfweight area. And again, we're having some data feed issue here. There you can see some of the particularly northern portions of Mills County. This is just in the last hour. We're talking about some let's get those yellows on there. We're starting to talk about some maybe 3-inch rains that have occurred just inside the last hour. So that could enhance some of the flooding concerns. So a lot to keep an eye on, and that's also for that warning that stretches into Hamilton County as well. So we've got a flooding concern that we're keeping an eye on. We've got the tornado warning that we're keeping an eye on, and then we've got hail concerns that we're watching as well. And I'm going to see if my computer update. It's having some data slowdown inside of it, which is really great when you're trying to track thunderstorms. It's not wanting to. All right, let's go back to here. So, all right, so we've got the tornado warning that's in effect for Mills County. We have severe thunderstorm warning that kind of covers broad around this, that covers into Coryell County. That goes all the way to the Gatesville area as well. So from north of Lampasas, across parts of Fort Cavazos to Gatesville, Coryell City, Jonesboro, Hamilton, Gulfweight, you're all under this severe thunderstorm warning. Gulfweight, again, under the tornado warning as well. And again, we're watching a few areas of rotation inside of this storm, or these storms. There's kind of different clusters of thunderstorm activity. We've got couplet that we're watching, again, this area that we see of the greens and reds here. It's nothing bright with it, but there's definitely some broad rotation with this storm near Adamsville. The activity around the Gulfwood area becoming a little more cluttered. So that's good news. We're not seeing anything that's showing extreme bright rotation like we had earlier with that storm. But a couple areas of rotation we're watching with this activity. again, we've only got the one area that's under the tornado warning right now, and that's again around the Mills County area from Gulfweight stretching eastward towards the county line. Any area you see some of these dark purplish colors here, that's some of those hail cores that could producing $quarter to $half size hail inside of these thunderstorms here that we're watching. Now you see the view from our camera there in the Gulfweight area, again picking up a lot of kind of rain and heavy storm activity there. This is the view from our First Alert chase team. They're moving in and around some of these storms as here. You can see they're a little further away where not seeing as much rain. We also have our Weather Explorer that's out right now as well. This is in the Coryell County area, all trying to reposition and get around these storms to get the best view we can of anything. And we will check in with them as we continue to deal with these strong storms. Again, if you're just tuning in, I know we're interrupting what would be normally News 10 at 5. We are interrupting normal programming because we had a tornado warning that was issued. And guys in the control room, good news is that tornado warning is about to get canceled. So we'll kind of recap everything, go to break, and then we'll kind of have a start up what would typically be News 10 at 5, a little abbreviated due to everything going on. So a tornado warning was issued for Mills County. The National Weather Service says that they are going to let that be canceled, so that's good, but they're going to still monitor the rotation that's on the broader basis. Again, this may be kind of the way the setup is today, where storms don't show rotation, spin up real quick. We just have to watch because that the spin is in the atmosphere, or the setup is that is conducive for these storms to spin up quickly. So make sure you have a way to keep weather aware as we go through the remainder of the afternoon and evening, because any of these storms could quickly produce a tornado, and we want you to be able to be in your safe place and know what's going on. So to kind of recap, the tornado warning is going to be expired here shortly. There's a severe thunderstorm warning, and you'll see what the National Weather Service did is they added this tag at the bottom of it where a tornado is possible. So we're going to keep a keen eye on the radar. We'll let you know any updates coming if we see any better rotation inside of any of these storms. But right now, a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the north and western parts of Coryell County, much of Lampasas County, eastern Mills County, much of Hamilton County. Mills and Hamilton County also under flash flood warnings, as there's a threat of already 3 inches has fallen in some areas and more heavy rain ongoing as we speak. So we'll step aside for a second. We'll be back with News 10 at 5 and more weather updates as we go through the rest of the afternoon.
In towns all across the country, locals are finding opportunities at Amazon with free tech training programs.
You need T-Mobile home internet with 5G.
Wait, T-Mobile has home internet?
What a feeling to have T-Mobile now.
McCain, make it a Friday.
KWTX News 10.
Good afternoon, everyone. Gordon Collier here. It is a first alert weather day. As predicted, storms have been rolling across central Texas. Let's check in with first alert Chief Meteorologist Brady Taylor. Brady, busy afternoon.
Yeah, and it's we had a tornado warning issued just a few minutes ago, and that's why we were continuing our coverage. But that area has become less defined in the rotation. Today's one of those days you have to be weather aware because all the thunderstorms are going to be broadly rotating, what we call supercell thunderstorms, but a very messy setup right now. This one complex of storms that is rolling right across Highway 84, so it's going to be moving towards the Gatesville area. There is no rotation right now that we're overly worried about any tornadic activity, so that's good news. But this complex of storms is going to continue to move east towards I-35, so we're talking about the potential of heavy rain. Mills County, Hamilton County, we're talking about already 3 inches of rain that's fallen. Hail that could be golf ball size or larger. Right now we're talking probably quarter to $50 inside of this storm, frequent cloud to ground lightning, and that stray tornado chance. And we've got to keep a close eye on that. It's probably going to be one of those days where we're interrupting off and on as rotation develops in the storm. So the big takeaway, stay weather aware. We've got our full team keeping an eye on it here, online. We've got chasers out across central Texas, and we'll keep you updated through the afternoon as we're continuing to monitor these storms.
Thank you, Brady. Hey, the video that you're watching right now is pretty shocking. Ouch. A Waco resident caught a hit-and-run incident near her home on her Ring camera. Hey, the good news is the driver's okay. The bad news is we don't know who was driving the car. News 10's Jessica Rajkumar is here today after talking with Waco PD and the victim.
Yes.
Wow, it's amazing that the victim is okay. How's he doing?
Right. I saw that video and my jaw dropped. I know you had a similar reaction, but that was 43-year-old Aaron Ayers who was delivering food on DoorDash through his motorcycle. So basically he was driving and he told me that he doesn't remember anything of the incident until he saw that video. Now, like we said earlier, that recording was from a Ring camera of a neighbor nearby, and so they heard the crash outside. They went to check on him, and they called 911. But the driver who was responsible for this accident, they couldn't find him. And so Waco PD is kind of asking others to, see this video, and if you hear anything to, call them and reach out with any information.
Man, I bet he is just grateful to be alive and able to share his story. So what happens now?
Right, yeah. So luckily when he went to the hospital, all he came back with was staples in his head, a cracked rib, and a concussion because of the memory loss and stuff like that. But Ayers told me that he's just happy that he can hug his kids again. And his wife, but the incident, he says, was bound to happen to somebody. He's been delivering for around a year in this area, and he says people run those stop signs all the time. And so it's kind of just like, the situation, but he's, kind of maintaining that he wants to find the person responsible, as does Waco PD. And you can head over to our social medias to watch the video as well. It should be up on Facebook right now. So if there's anything.
Can we see that video one more time?
Yeah, we can see it. This is kind of the car that we're looking for. I pulled that directly out of a screenshot of that video. But yeah, here it is again, right out of that
Rolls right through
right
through the stop sign.
Right.
Did not stop.
Right.
I think they call that a California roll, Jessica.
California roll, yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, but again, if you recognize anything from the video or it seems familiar, just contact Waco PD. We need to make sure.
Clearly knew they hit the driver.
Oh, yes, yes. Not even, if your neighbors inside can hear it, you should be able to hear it in the car.
All right. Well, hopefully they find that person. More at 6?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Jess, thanks.
Thank you, Gordon.
We'll be right back.
Welcome to Fall River. We have great bird watching and an Amazon warehouse with free technical training programs. Good for employees, good for Fall River. Good spot.
We are always in motion. Getting this, fixing that, arriving to destinations in life and around the globe. Sometimes it's beautiful. Sometimes it's a blur. Because life never stops, you need someone you can trust to go right along with you, no matter where the future leads. Enterprise, for lives and drive. We are always in motion. Getting this, fixing that, arriving to destinations in life and around the globe. Sometimes it's beautiful. Sometimes it's a blur. Because life never stops, you need someone you can trust to go right along with you, no matter where the future leads. Enterprise, for lives in drive.
Welcome back. After severe weather and flooding across the state left many counties with thousands and thousands of dollars in damages, several central Texas counties have been declared disaster areas. That opens them up for more funding. News 10's Isabella Quintanilla talked with local officials to find out more about this. So what's the purpose of the disaster declaration?
Yes, so whenever there is an emergency or a disaster that causes property damage, whether that be a business or a person's home, they can file for this, the county government can file for a disaster declaration. And so this is basically just saying, you know, we don't have the funds or the resources to repair the damages or take care of the damage. And so we need help funding that or any sort of assistance to help take care of that. And so that is the point of the disaster declaration, is to just kind of get that assistance that they need from the state or federal government.
Yeah, and obviously this is done when there's widespread damage. Go over why it's so important that people file for this funding and register their damages and their property damages.
Yes, so whenever there is any sort of damage, if you're insured or not, you should still be filing for those damages, and there's a survey that you fill out to take that. But the reason it's so important is because every county government has a threshold. So they need the cost of damages to surpass a certain amount, to surpass that threshold for the county to even be eligible for that federal funding. So if, say, you are insured, but your next door neighbor is not insured, if you or anyone else in your neighborhood doesn't file for that damage, then your uninsured neighbor might not get the funding that they need to repair their home after severe flooding.
Yeah, so it's critical. If you've had damage, whether you have insurance or not,
Yes.
Apply for this funding. It's not hard to do, and you're hurting yourself and your neighbors.
Exactly, and it's a state survey. It's fairly easy to take. We'll have the link to that on our website under this story. But yeah, it's just
very,
do
very
it.
critical. If you have damage, file.
Yes.
And you'll go over how to file and all that stuff at 6
Yes.
o'clock, maybe?
I will
All
have
right.
all the details
Okay.
at 6.
We're looking forward to that. Bella, thanks so much. We'll be right back.
We are always in motion. Getting this, fixing that, arriving to destinations in life and around the globe. Sometimes it's beautiful. Sometimes it's a blur. Because life never stops, you need someone you can trust to go right along with you, no matter where the future leads. Enterprise, for lives in drive.
From KWTX News 10, the Weather Authority, Chief Meteorologist Brady Taylor.
Tornado watch is in effect area-wide across central Texas. We've got a late afternoon now moving into the evening where strong storms are going to be a possibility for just about all of central Texas. The number one risk from these storms is going to be the potential for large hail. We're talking golf ball, maybe up to tennis ball size. I'll show you a storm here in a second that the radar is estimating potentially up to baseball size hail. So we could have some destructive hail with these storms. We've already had a tornado warning. We likely may deal with a few more of these as we go through the rest of the evening when we start talking about the tornado threat. So here's the KWTX radar network watching this big area of thunderstorm activity working out of Mills County into Lampasas and Coryell County that's moving to the east. So a couple different things we're going to be watching. We've got heavy rain that's already prompted a flash flood warning. 3 to 4 inches of rain has fallen across parts of Mills and Hamilton County. We've got strong storm activity with hail cores that are becoming very significant, and there is some rotation, broad rotation inside of this storm. Activity is approaching the Gatesville area, moving down towards Pitcoke, sitting north of the Lampasas area up towards the Adamsville area. And check out this hail core here. We get the reds. That's baseball-sized hail that the radar is indicating just east of Highway 281. So, again, Gatesville's here looking off to the west. This is just to the north and east of Adamsville. And this is going to be sliding down to the southeast. So we'll have to watch this moving across parts of Fort Cavazos. And this could eventually affect parts of Bell County, depending on exactly where this hail core moves. Now, these hail cores a lot of times will build up and then dump a lot of it out. There's another decent hail core east of Highway 36 up north and east of the Gatesville area as well. We've got a couple different eyeballs set on this. This is the view from around the Pitcoke area, kind of rolling through some of those hills as you get from Fort Cavazos down towards the Copper's Cove area. That's their view. This is also a view from our Weather Explorer. Again, they're heading down closer to the Copper's Cove area as well. So what we're doing is trying to reposition our teams on the southern side of these storms. It gives our chasers a little better visibility into it, and when you see them running around and getting away from storms, that means they're also concerned about that hail concern. We do not want any of our guys out there with baseball potential size hail. So some devastating hail possible with some of these storms right now, and that golf ball size or larger hail is definitely a threat as we go over the next few hours. So here's a look at our futurecast. You can see this wave of storm activity approaches the I-35 corridor around 6, 7 o'clock this evening. We'll probably get a little earlier around the Clean area, but Temple, Waco, Belton areas like that, we're probably talking between 6 and 7. So if you live along I-35, now's the time to get your car parked somewhere where you're not worried about the hail. Know what to do if a tornado warning is issued for where you live. That's why a tornado watch is issued. It is a, hey, be prepared. You don't have to change your plans right this minute, but typically when a tornado warning is issued, you've got about 10 to 20 minutes of reaction time. So you need to know what to do, where to go, how to be prepared if a tornado warning is issued for your area. This activity is going to continue to shift east as we go through the evening hours. We could see a little redevelopment overnight. The severe threat doesn't look too high with that, but there could be some more rain added on top of already soggy conditions across central Texas. And then everything will start to move out tomorrow, but keep scattered rain chances around throughout the day tomorrow as well. So here's a look at your weather planner. Again, today really the big story, scattered showers tomorrow, isolated activity heading into the Memorial Day weekend, but heat's going to be the big story, particularly Saturday and Sunday. Heat index values 100 to 105. A front may roll through on Memorial Day, and that could cool us off a few degrees into next week. Stay with News 10, our free KWTX weather app, KWTX.com. Make sure you have multiple ways to keep up to date with the weather. Again, we've just got a new, before we step away, want to give you an update. We got a new flash flood warning that just got issued. Again, that's going to come for Lampasas and Coryell County. So kind of 3 different things we're worried about. We've got the strong storm threat, the potential tornadic threat, and again, the flash flooding concerns. So that warning will come in for Lampasas and Coryell County. So stay with News 10. We'll keep you updated. We're going to be on as much as we need to keep you updated. But be weather aware as we head through the rest of the afternoon and evening as a strong storm potential continues.